age 30, have a good husband and 3 fine children. We are upper middle class folks who live in an upper middle class neighborhood and have upper middle class friends. When I'm in the house alone in the morning, after the children go off to school and my husband leaves for work, I like to do my housework with no clothes on. Yes, you read correctly, with no clothes on. I pull the shades and draw the draperies. No one can possibly see me. Last week I confided this to a friend and she said I must be off my rocker, that there is something immoral or sick about a person who would walk about the house nude. I think somebody's got a geranium in her cranium, and it's not Lady Godiva. It's her friend. If you want to do your housework naked as a jaybird or wearing a raccoon coat, go ahead. It's nobody's business but yours. And judging from the letters you sent me after I ran this one, apparently a lot of you like to do your housework in the house. Oh yes, don't look away. I know you're there. The one who learned the hard way that you have to be very careful when ironing on natural. And where's the gal who told me she interrupted her naked dusting to let a girlfriend in and found the minister at the door instead? Come on, who popped the parson's peepers? Well, that's all right. Your secret's safe with me and 60 million readers. This one goes in the book. Not for the book. In the book. Oh, the motorcycle helmet, definitely in the book. The chapter on sex. Not for the book. Nor this one. Well, Dear Ann Landers, my husband has been pulling a stunt that embarrasses me to tears. When we have company, he puts on a Tarzan outfit, paints claw marks on himself with lipstick, tucks oak leaves in his hair, grabs a banana, and goes up in the tree and waits. When the guests arrive, he starts making chimpanzee noises and swings down on them. Everyone laughs hysterically, but I am secretly humiliated. Why would a guy in his 30s behave like this? I suspect he is very immature. Oh, I love how she signed it, Jane. I told her he just wants attention. Be glad he's looking for it at home and not swinging someplace else. Not long ago, I asked, how long and who is married out here? Do I have 10 years? 20? 30 years or more? 40? 40 years or more? Oh my, congratulations. Do I have 50? 50 or more out there? Over 50 years? Mazel tov. How many it just feels like 50? Another one from a husband. Almost half of my mail comes from men. Surprising, isn't it? Dear Ann Landers, I'm an accountant, married 7 years, and something has bothered me from the beginning. My wife has a habit of plumping up the pillows when we are in a romantic mood. My mother used to do this when I was sick, and it reminds me of her. When I think about my mother, I can't think of sex. I told this accountant, just toss the pillows before your wife can on me after 11, either my daughter or my sister. Oh, no, honey, I'm glad it's you, and not my sister Popo. She's dear Abby, but you knew that. I need a phone call from Popo tonight like a giraffe needs strep throat. Well, I'm on deadline, but I keep goofing off. This book I want to put together of my favorite letters. Your letters, thank you very much, since day one of the column, October 16th, 1955. A date which will live in intimacy. What? Oh, Ketzel, don't worry. I'll make deadline. You know me, up all night. Like the old streetwalker, it's when I do my best work. Listen, I'll call you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm fine. Really. Kiss my grandchildren for me. Tell them Grandma says they should let you sleep past 6. All right, Ketzel. Love you too. Good night. Oy vey, look at this mess. What kind of a person writes to a newspaper columnist for advice anyway? Right there. And you, and you, and you, and you. Because you need someone to listen to your side of the story. Someone who won't yell at you or tell you you're lying or crazy. Do I dump the bum? Do I drag him to AA? How do I handle a boy who wants to go all the way? I'm a lousy husband. I don't like my stepdaughter. Or worse, I'm a lousy husband. I'm in love with my stepdaughter. All the problems and questions of life. And death, too. Listen to this. Dear Ann Landers, I am a devout Christian with several gold crowns on my teeth. When I am dead, I would like to will the gold to my sister, who could really use the money. But do you know if after the resurrection, it will be possible for me to have new crowns put in? I did not, but trust me, if his dentist is Jewish, he's not taking appointments for after the resurrection. Listen, I'm not an expert on any subject, but I can get to the experts. So you get their wisdom every morning with your cornflakes. You'll clip a column and you'll tape it on the refrigerator door as a way to say, I'm sorry, or you'll slip it under a dinner plate to give a hint or a laugh. You've told me you've passed it on and saved a life. Like when I print the warning signs of cancer or a letter from a drunk driving victim. And speaking of saving lives, I was so proud when over 1 million of you mailed my piece on the National Cancer Act to Washington. Over 1 million pieces of mail flooded our nation's capital. Signs went up in the Capitol mailroom, impeach Ann Landers. But I didn't care. It's what finally got Congress to pass the largest medical research appropriation in U.S. history. You know, I'd rather have my column on 1,000 refrigerator doors than win a Pulitzer Prize. And I have a column to finish tonight. This is just today's mail. I guess there's about 900 letters here. I could call the book, My Mailman Has a Hernia. Every one of these with return address will will get a response. Every single one. And ordinarily, some of these would be the letters you read in the next Dan Landers column. But not this time. This column to run on July 1st, 1975. This particular column won't have any of your letters in it. Nothing from Desperate in Denver or Lost in Fort Lee. This one's a letter to you from me, the most important column of my career. And I don't have a clue how to start it. Well, that's not exactly right. I've got the first two words. I'm stumped at the third one. The first two are perfect. They're fantastic. They're sheer poetry. Dear readers. It's that damn third word. Honestly, in my 20 years as Ann Landers, this is the most difficult column I've ever tried to put together. Oh. Dear readers, in my 20 years as Ann Landers, this is the most difficult column I have ever tried to put together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. Now we're rolling. Okay. Building on the momentum, the fire of creativity blazing. Most difficult column I have ever tried to put together. Where did I hide the chocolate? You know, this would be so much easier if I were just answering one of your letters. That's like writing to just one individual, not 60 million. It's okay. I didn't have dessert at dinner, and I won't have dessert tomorrow. Or the day after. You know, I could eat a piece, another piece, without even thinking, but I won't, because I have tremendous willpower. Is there anything better than chocolate? Think about it. Dear readers, in my 20 years as Ann Landers, this is the most difficult column I've ever tried to put together. I do so after many hours of soul searching. Well, it's the truth. Soul searching. Hello? Popo. Knew it was her. Yes, I'm fine. No, I said I'm fine, and I am. I am telling you the truth. Really, I'm fine. Actually, I'm working. Well, I'm trying it a couple of ways. Popo. Popo, we agreed long ago we don't discuss our work. I know. Just being helpful. I know. I know. Thanks. I'll keep it in mind. All right, sweetheart. Love you too. Bye. Thanks, honey. If I need a shoulder to... No, I'm not going to have a glass of wine. That's your crutch, not mine. All right, pussycat. Love you. Bye now. Well, the Schopenhauer parable about the two porcupines. You have to be close enough for warmth, and too close, and the quills draw blood. Okay. Dear readers, we're identical twins, you know, Coco and I, born on the 4th of July. For years, we thought the parades and fireworks were just for us, Effie and Popo. Effie's my nickname for Esther Pauline, and Popo is Pauline Esther. She's a darling girl, and I love her dearly. I have always loved her. The wonderful thing about being a twin is you're never alone. The awful part about being a twin is you're never alone. You twins, you know. Dear readers, I was born first by 17 minutes, and that's not the only time I was first. My Ann Landers column was a hit from coast to coast for 6 months before there even was a Dear Abby. And she's doing very well, but she just hates it when people get us confused. It was one thing when we were little Effie and Popo Friedman, the cutest twins in town, identical outfits, identical hairstyles. We loved that then. But now I take every opportunity in the column to tell mothers, do not dress your twins alike. Let them develop as individuals. Let them each be a whole egg. Believe me, they'll thank you for it later. Dear readers, you know, she didn't say a word to me in advance, not one word. One day, Dear Abby just appeared in the San Francisco Chronicle. I couldn't believe it. The only creative writing she'd ever done was little rhyming telegrams she'd send us signed Edgar Allan Poe. Blood may be thicker than water, but it boils faster too. And not just over the big things like betrayals or infidelities. It's the small things, the silliest, playing Tarzan, the proper way to pronounce February, toilet paper. Oh my God, especially toilet paper. This just boggles the mind. I very nearly didn't print it because I thought it was so inconsequential. Dear Ann Landers, while I was visiting family back in Sioux City, I brought up the subject of how they all needed to reverse their paper towels and toilet paper on the schools, since they were placed incorrectly. The paper should be coming from the wall up toward the top, over and out. They all disagreed. Please settle this for us. Signed, Paper Crazy. Now, first of all, you come into my home as a guest, relative or not, and tell me how to hang my toilet paper? But the elevator going down has your name on it. But be that as it may, I wrote Paper Crazy that there is no right or wrong way to hang it, but my preference is like his relatives, back against the wall. 15,000 letters came in. 15,000 about toilet paper. It just boggles the mind. With all the important issues that divide our country, war, morality, abortion, guns, nuclear proliferation, a once hung at your house. I'm asking how you think it should be hung. Who's for back against the wall? All right. And how many of you think that it should go the other way? Come up from behind and hang down in front. All right. And how many of you live in a household where there is disagreement on the issue? The issue of tissue. And who's ever gone into somebody else's bathroom, taken the roll off the wall, and switched it? Now, as to whether the C should be left up or down, no, I've got work to do. Besides, the answer to that one is non-negotiable. Right, ladies? Many hours of soul searching. Red Smith, the sports writer, told me, writing a daily column is easy. You sit at the typewriter until little drops of blood start to appear on your forehead. I hate this, being stumped. I'm a goer, a doer. Jules, my husband, he's the same way. Always on the go, always searching for an opportunity and making the most of it. He went door to door all over the Midwest when we were newlyweds, selling cookware. We'd give free demonstration dinners. I'd be in the kitchen washing dishes, and I'd hear him in the dining room racking up all these sales. He just sold everybody. My God, we worked harder than Noah when his wife said, "Hurry up, honey, I think I felt a sprinkle." You know, those were some of the really fun times in our marriage. Which just goes to show you, money isn't everything. But hey, get a load of this. Jules bought it for me when he first took over the budget rent-a-car company. What? You didn't know my husband's Mr. Budget Rent-a-Car? Well, I don't put my personal life in the column. I'm epiletterer. The column is Ann Landers. Budget was strictly mom and pop when Jules got started, but he built it up into a worldwide corporation, working the same way as with the pots and pans, literally door to door. He personally sat down and closed the deal on every single budget franchise. He had a label put in the lining that said E.L., epiletterer. I had it taken out and a new one put in that said Jules' wife. All my fur coats, they all say Jules' wife. So I made an exception once about putting my personal life in the column. It was 6 years ago, after years of letters about marriages that were in trouble. I wanted to run one about a marriage that was wonderful. So I wrote one. Dear readers, this may be just another day to you, but it is a very special day in my life. 30 years ago, on a sweltering Sunday afternoon in Sioux City, Iowa, where they hang the toilet paper back against the wall, forbids me describing myself as a student at Morningside College. So I'll simply say I was enrolled there. Jules had 1 year at Northwestern High School, that is. He was a product of Detroit, handsome, energetic, imaginative, a born optimist, and eager to take on the world. He had a good job and a promising future. He was also broke. I was an effervescent, fun-loving girl, hopelessly square, driven by a crusading spirit to save the world. A sort of Jewish Joan of Arc. I had accepted a ring and was engaged to marry a law student in California. All right, at this point, I'm not the only Friedman twin who's engaged. So of course, there has to be a double wedding. 2 brides, 2 grooms, 22 attendants, 3 rabbis, Orthodox, conservative, reformed. Pop was covering all bases. The families are excited, the invitations printed, the synagogue and hotel ballroom reserved. So, Popo and I go downtown together to T.S. Martin's department store to buy bridal veils. Identical bridal veils. Guess who's the salesman in the millinery department selling the veils? Jules. 1 look, and I know there is such a thing as love at first sight. Jules' big, beautiful blue eyes look right at me, and he says, "At last I meet a girl I could marry, and she's engaged to another guy." Well, Jules, never one to be discouraged by small obstacles, asked me out on a date. I go. He proposes. He's so handsome, blonde like a movie star. Papa doesn't believe he's really Jewish. Say something in Yiddish. I wanna go for a ball? That wins Papa over. And 3 months later, that big double wedding goes on as scheduled, with Jules as my groom. We were blessed the following year with a baby girl, Margot. From then on, I saw more of the moving van than I saw of Jules. When an opportunity for advancement rose, he took it. We moved from Sioux City to St. Louis, from St. Louis to New Orleans, from New Orleans to Milwaukee,